Welcome. Today we are going to see about database management system. In this chapter we are going to discuss about how the database is going to be created, how the information stored within inside the database, how we are going to retrieve the information from the database. These are all things we are going to discuss within this chapter. Introduction to the database management system. DBMS stands for Database Management System. So let us break down the words what they really mean. A database is a place where we store, retrieve and manage the data. So we can ask what a data mean. Meaningful information like your name, your favorite color, etc. To complex data like astronomical data that scientists handle, everything comes under the database. Definition of database management system. A database management system is a system software for creating and managing database. The DBMS provides user and programmers with a systematic way to create, retrieve, update and manage data. Evaluation of database management system. The concept of storing the data starts before 40 years in various formats. In earlier days, they have used punched card technologies to store data. Then files were used. The file system were known as a predecessor of database system. Various access methods we are using within the file system. They were indexed method, random method, then sequential access method. DBMS concepts. DBMS adheres to the following basic concept. ACID. What is that? Atomicity, consistency, isolation and durability. The database management system has this four concepts as a pillar. Atomicity follows the thumb rule, all or nothing. While updating the data in database, for the user performance updation process will be do all those things or else the process will be eliminated. This update operation is called as transaction and it either commits successful updation or aborts. Updation will get failure. To prevent the conflict in database update, the transaction are isolated from the other user and serialized. This is known as degree of consistency. Next one is durability. It is defined as the system's ability to recover all committed transaction during the failure of storaging or the system. Next one is database management system models. Here we are having four major types. One is hierarchical database model, network model, relational model, then object oriented database model. Hierarchical database model. The famous hierarchical database model was IMS, Information Management System, from IBM first DBMS. In this model, each record has information in parent-child relationship like a tree structure. The collection of record was called as a record, which are equivalent to tables in relational model. Here we are seeing a example of hierarchical model. Network model. The first developed network data model was IDS, Integrated Data Stored at Honeywell. Network model is similar to the hierarchical model, except that in this model each member can have more than one owner. The many to many relationship are handled in a better way. This model identified the three database components. One is network schema, subschema, then language. What is network schema? The schema defines all about the structure of the database. Then subschema controls on views of the database for the user. Next one is language, basic procedural accessing the database structure. Here we can see that the basic structure of network model. Relational model is defined with two terminologies. One is instance, another one is schema. What is instance? A table consisting of row and column methods. Whatever the field or the column we are inserting within a database, it comes in a category of row or column. Schema, specific the structure including name and type of each column, that is called as a schema. Here we want to note that a relation is a word of table, then unique attributes as a column, then tuples called as a rows. Object-oriented database model. This model incorporates the combination of object-oriented programming concepts and database technology. Object-oriented model uses small, reusable software known as objects. These are all stored in object-oriented database. This model efficiently manages large number of different data types. Moreover, complex behaviors are handled efficiently using OOPS structure. Here we can see the example of the OOPS structure database management system. Next one is relational database management system, basic or DBMS concept. Any database owes languages, then logical organization is based on the relational data model is known as a relational database. A DBMS that manages the relational database is known as relational database management system. RDBMS is basically used within the SQL and for all modern database systems like MySQL, Oracle, Microsoft Access. The basic RDBMS concept includes database, table, tuples, attributes, schema, key, which are discussed in the RDBMS jargons. RDBMS jargon database. The most popular relational database is MySQL. It is an open source. You all know about the open source. That means we can download it as a free of cost in the internet. Now we see SQL database supporting different platforms like Windows, Linux, Mac operating system. The other relational databases available are Oracle, MS SQL Server, then MS Access. The features of RDBMS are highly availability. Second one, high performance, robustness, transaction and support, ease of management, less cost. These are all the RDBMS features. Table. In relational database model, table defined as the collection of data organized in terms of row and column. Table is a simple representation of relation. Then column. The table consists of several row and column. The table can be divided into smaller parts. In terms of column, each column is known as a attribute. Row. A single entry table is called as a row or record or a tuple. Set of related data are represented in a row or tuple. This horizontal entity in a table is known as a record or row. Now we are going to see about various key formats. Primary key. The candidate key that is chosen to perform the identical task is called as a primary key, and any other alternate keys. Every tuple must have by definition a unique value for its primary key. A primary key which is combination of more than one attributes is called as a composite primary key. Next one is foreign key. What is foreign key? A foreign key is a copy of primary key that has been exported from one relation to another to represent the existence of relationship between them. Next one is super key. The attribute or group of attribute which is sufficient to distinguish every tuples. This is very important. We want to distinguish every tuple in the relation from every other one is known as a super key. What is composite key? A key with more than one attribute to identify the row uniquely in a table is called as a composite key. Next we are going to see about the ER model, entity relationship model. Generally we use an ER model to know the concept of database design, and this model consists of collection of entities, real world objects. Each of these entities will be interconnected with each other with some certain condition and dependencies. One entity is dependent to another. Basic concept of ER model. First one is entity or entity type, attribute, then relation. What is entity? An entity can be anything, a real world object or animation with is easily identifiable. Types of entity: strong entity, weak entity, and entity instance. Strong entity. Strong entity is the one which doesn't depend on any other entity on the schema or database, and a strong entity will have a primary key with it. Weak entity. Weak entity is dependent. Already we have seen about the strong entity. It is opposite to the strong entity. Weak entity dependent on other entities and it doesn't have any primary key like the strong entity. Entity instance. Instance are the values for the entity. Entity instance denotes the category values for the given entity. Attributes. An attribute is the information about the entity and it will describe quality, then qualify, classify and specify an entity. Attribute will always have a single value. That value can be number or character or string. Types of attributes. One is key attribute, simple attribute, composite attribute, single valued attribute, multi-valued attribute. The key attribute. Generally, a key attribute describes a unique characteristics of an entity. This simple attribute cannot be separated. It will be having single value for their entity. With small example, we can see that the image shown there. Composite attribute. The composite attribute can be subdivided into simple attributes without changing in the meaning of that attribute. Single valued attribute contain only one value for the attribute and they don't have multiple numbers of values. This is very important. The meaning of that attribute will not change at any time. Multi-valued attribute. Multi-value attribute has more than one value for the particular attribute. Here we can see the example attribute degree, then bank account, values, what we give for the degree, BTech, MBA, MCA, so on so. Then bank account, which bank it has. These are all multi-value attribute for a single person. Relationship type. Relationship exists between two entities. Three types of relationship are available in the ER diagram. One to one, one to many, many to many. Relationship instance. Each instance of relationship between members of this entity type is called as a relationship instance. Degree of relationship. The number of entity types involved is known as the degree of relationship. 1 is called as a unary, 2 binary, 3 is ternary. Cardinality. This is defined as a number of items that must be included in a particular relationship. Here we are seeing that the ER diagram notations. The strong, weak, how we are representing with some symbols. This explains the ER diagram notations. Now we are going to see about the MySQL. MySQL is a database management system founded by Monty Widiners. A database is defined as the structure collection of data. It is a standardized language used to access the database. The current version of MySQL is 2003. MySQL is open source software that allows the managing relational databases. List of commonly used databases: DB2, MySQL, Oracle, PostgreSQL, SQLite, SQL Server, then Skybase. MySQL administration responsibility. What are the responsibility which hold by the MySQL? We can see that creating the new user to the particular database. Account to MySQL. How the user going to be act within this database. Then using the database with the command of use. Next one is show. Whatever we have created before, that databases will be shown by this command of show database. Within the database we are going to create multiple tables with the command show tables. With the name of the table we can see what are the tables will be created within the database. Then show column. This will shows what are the columns will be created within a particular table. from table name. This will be add more option that from table name will be shown within the database. Show index from the table name. It given the index value of the particular database. Show the table status like table name. This command shows the status what about a table. Now we are going to see about how the MS SQL going to be installed within our machine. Go to the particular website and then get the link for the MySQL, then download it and install the exam server software. This is a welcome screen setup for exam. After this screen you want to click the next button, then it followed. Already you are all very known about the installing the software, so that we can proceed whatever the options we want to select it here and then go for the next options simultaneously. After seeing this, you can select the particular folder, then click next. The process will be started like this with this image. After completing this message will be displayed to you completing the exam setup wizard. Do you want to start the control panel now? Then you can click finish. Now you can see this is exam control panel. Here you can see that Apache, MySQL, FileZilla, Mercury, Tomcat. You want to start the services first, then only you can be able to use the particular service. Next, after starting that, you want to go to the particular web browser and you want to open the PHP admin folder to open your particular file where you are stored inside your machine.
Types of software tools: PHP admin, MySQL workbench, ID, a desktop application. The structured query language. Each and every database required such a language to interact with the database. Here we are using the word of SQL. Structured query language is a standard language used for accessing and manipulating database. It is declared as a standard by American National Standard Institute and International Organization for Standardization in year 1986 and 1987 respectively. Now about SQL. Through the SQL is standard language, different versions are maintained to meet out the requirements. Few major functions performed using SQL. One is executes query against database management, retrieves data from database, insert and update records in a database, delete record from database, create new database and new tables in a database. Here some such type of database command we are seeing. DDL, data definition language. DML, data manipulation language. DQL, data query language. Next we are seeing that the SQL TCL commands: commit, rollback, set transaction, save point. Here you can notice that the commit permanent save into the database. Rollback restore the database to the original form since the last commit. Set transaction command set the transaction properties such as read, write or read only access to the particular file. Save point used to temporarily save a transaction so that we can roll back to the point whenever required. Next one is SQL DCL command, grant and revoke. Grant is used to give permission to the specific user on a specific database object like table and view. Revoke is used to take out permission from the specific user on a specific database objects like a table and view. Now we are seeing the insert commands syntax. Insert into the table name, column 1, column 2, column 3 and values respectively for value 1, value 2, value 3. The another one command is insert into table name values value 1, value 2, value 3 two types of insert syntax is there. Deleting record. The existing record in a table is removed from the table using the delete command. Entire record or specific column in the table can be deleted. Here we are seeing some operators in the SQL. Arithmetic operator, comparison operator, logical operator, those we have learned already in the C++. Where class. In SQL command, where class is used to specify the selection criteria based on the data or retrieved or modified as per the query. Sorting records. The query results are listed in ascending or descending order using the command of order by. In some databases, the results are sorted by default in ascending order. Subqueries. The subqueries is executed first and the result of subqueries are used as the condition for main query. The subquery must follow the below rules. Subqueries are always written within the parentheses. Second one, always place the subquery on the right side of the comparison operator. Third one, order by class is not used in the subquery since subquery cannot manipulate the result internally.